Welcome back, gamers. Lazygamer here. And while I'm still awake, I'm gonna try and make this tutorial video on prefabs. But I am a bit tired, so if I should fall asleep, don't blame me, okay? Just skip to where I continue. So let's get on with it, shall we? What? Oh, the second video. Oh no! Right, I'll be right there. So let's start, shall we? Yeah, prefabs. So you've all seen this. It's the simplest thing to create in Doom Builder. It's fairly easy. You just make 64 by 64 sector. You erase it by 64. You add some create the textures. Let's see, like this one, just to make a difference. You can copy and paste it all around with shift and middle mouse click, and for the top we'll get create top and the matching fetching colors. Could, if you want, I used to do this, use this on top as well, and you can, and I might, but for the time being let's just use the regular ones. To change it is not that difficult anyway. Point is, we are not creating stuff in this video as such. We are making prefabs, and technically making prefabs, making sectors and stuff is part of creating prefabs, but let's ignore that for now. We have created them, okay? But creating even this simple crate each time is a hassle, isn't it? And if you finished one map and started another, you really have to make them again. But prefabs will help you there. Once you have the item you want to prefab, let's start with this easy one. We have 4 examples to go through if you want repeats, so that's fine. Create the sector in question. Go to prefabs, create from selection, which we have selected obviously. Found a place where you really want them. I put them in crates under my 3D crates. So this is a 64. Oh, hang on. create 64 times square times 64 height brown. It's fine. Let's just repeat that again.
We have select prefab, create from selection, create 64 times 64 gray, and
again, this is getting boring, isn't it? Create 32 by 32 gray, and create by 16 times 16 gray.
Yeah, I'm repeating this several times on purpose, just because if you really want, or if you have many prefabs, name them so that you know what they are. That's a fairly simple square, so it doesn't need a lot of text, but some of these are fairly long. The ones you have the prefab, you can go well to prefab and do this, but it's easier just to go here, insert prefab. Let's create 64 by 64 gray one. We can put them anywhere we want, and we have it here. Now, say you want 2 of these. Well, you can copy this and put it right beside it, but an easier method is just drag another length. Now you want this to be higher, you say? Okay, that's fine. This is just make a line separating them. Select one of them, and you have, oops. Well, that's the easy thing with prefabs. Now, what do I want that one up there? Well, pretend these are not here. And then we get this. Put it there. Now you will have some issues because it's down there. And this, so it doesn't really work. Not like that anyway, but we can work on it. I have done this, so you just have to fiddle with textures and stuff. That's one easy way to make and create and make a prefab, and that's about as far as I went in the previous explanation. I think I haven't even watched it in a long, I don't remember, okay? But we can make more advanced prefabs. Remember these from previous Christmas special? We created these. However, these are also using dummy sectors. So how do we handle these? Well, it's actually exactly the same MO, really. We just need to make 2 separate prefabs and then combine them in a new map or sector or whatever you want to do. So let's start with the chair. We select what's... Well, we need the legs, and we also need the sectors. So we need principally the whole thing. And once again, create from... Let's just put them here. I can't be bothered to find a place to put them. I don't really want this, it's too big, but for the example we can use it. It's a chair. Well, you know about descriptive titles, but we will just use chair, and it is chair main. And there we go. Now, which of these are belongs to the tags? This, no, that's for the table. That's for the back, and that's for the seat. So we need this and this. And prefabs. Create from chair. I usually set void for it's a descriptive term for things that are outside a main sector. So that's really it for creating the chair. That's really how you do it. I'm not gonna torture you by making these as well. You can rewind my video and watch it again if you are in doubt as to how I did it. Why is there no roof texture here? Well, you can do things however you want, but I usually keep the roof texture blank because you never know what ceiling you are going to put this in, and it's easier to spot. If I had it the same as this and I used this in another map, where the hell is it? Well, you have these obviously, but I just do it that way, okay? Same with this, or table for that matter. Just remember to take the sector that is required for the item in one prefab save, and the void things in a second, and you have to import both. It's really that simple. Then we have this, which I am tired of making. So I'm just gonna... This I want as a prefab, so I'm just gonna do it. You will note that this is a fairly high number. I started my prefab series with these boxes, the 3D ones. I'm gonna briefly show you how to make them. even if it has nothing to do with prefab stuff. Anyway, I want these so I can use them in other settings, and I'm gonna explain the numbers at the same time. The crates started at 500 just so that you have at least 500 free tabs to play with before you, so they won't, if you import this in the middle of a map session, you have probably used 1 to X amount number. So 3D. So if I have a fairly high number to start with, I don't have to think about changing the numbers on the fly, so to speak. Staircase main 7 steps, I think. I'm just gonna copy this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes. And then we, of course, prefab this. Just replace this with void, and we have a staircase. Right. I am going to show you how I made this now, or at least one of them. I'm not gonna make a whole. Just a quick session because I think someone wondered how I did it, so I'll do it here. But I'm worrying about my mouse battery going out on me, so I will be right back. Oops. So I should have really have made this in the previous video when I did 3D floors. And of course, if you watch that, at least you should have a pretty good idea of how I did it, but slightly relevant here as well, maybe, because we can start with our simple 64 by 64. Well, I made the gray one, so let's put in the brown. Not that it matters, we can change texture by a click of a button, but of course it had a lower ceiling when I made it. That doesn't matter. This one didn't have actually. Never mind. We start with this, and the only thing we need to do is find out just about where the texture of the where did I make it? This side, fine. It's not quite there. Good enough for a first effort. And we select it put it down here. Of course, we can use the arrow keys to use the lower bit. Once again, it's a bit thick, so we can say this size looks better. We copy this in here. We have to meddle with the textures a bit. We can use gray top for the sides. It's a bit light, but whatever. And where do you go? There you go. Then we copy this. Like so. We can take both and copy, paste, right or left click, either works. And well, for completion's sake, let's just put in gray top, so we don't have to fiddle with textures. This took some time and fiddling to make right. We can shift copy, shift paste to get the right position, so we don't have to fiddle with that. And we have our crate. And of course we need to do something about those sectors. We just select those, give it an arbitrary number. Let's just select the first available, which is 5. That's fine. And then we just do what we did before. We create dummy sector. We don't need there. And if you watched the previous video, you know this by now. 160 and number 5. Okay. And it won't look like much right now. Actually, it's not that bad. Let's just color one side to find it out here. That was my... The middle mouse button is also the scroll wheel. And yeah, that's really... Could it be? It's a bit bit much. Yeah. Let's do the real thing. Don't know. Something was selected, of course. That's really it. The thickness of this is really reliant on the textures, sadly. I can make it bigger or smaller, but I won't bother with that now. I can... Why is it? It's really simple. It can just be a bit fiddly if you want to do it so it looks halfway decent, you might say. That's really it. I'm not sure what else I can say about the prefabs or anything really. I had to pad the video with this one. But yeah, I made a pretty decent prefab corridor system. I plan to make more. I have a whole set of these on my Discord. There is a link to this. Plug my own video in the playlist somewhere. There is a video about this, a short showcase, and the link to it if you want it. I just wanted to show another detail I learned recently. If you have time and patience, you can just make small cut out as good as you can the line of the ground or ceiling textures and lower them a bit and create some detail effects. Don't try and overdo it. I might have done that already, but just to cap the episode, so to speak. You can connect these. They are made to connect. You can watch the video. I won't go too much into it. This has probably gone on for too long already, and someone would just speed it up anyway. So I'm not sure what to do about that. But I guess this really has been your host, I used to say, the Lazygamer, logging off. Bye guys. Merry Christmas. And Happy New Year. See you in the new year. Bye guys.